So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven? How do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. How are you doing this evening? We have a phenomenal guest. He comes to us from all the way over in the UK, and it is very, very early in the morning there right now. It is around, I'm guessing, 1:30 a.m. I hope I got that right, in the UK. So this gentleman has agreed to come on and share his brilliance with you, and I cannot wait to bring him on. He's coming very, very soon. First, the Mind, Body, Business Show. What is that all about? Well, it is a show that I had put together with you, the entrepreneur and small business owner, in mind. And what I do is I bring on only successful entrepreneurs from all over the world, and it's for the purpose of them to share their brilliance and share how they achieve success, so that now you can utilize what they have done and simply model, which is a fancy word for copy, model what they have done so you can achieve success faster rather than trying to invent it all on your own. It's that simple. And it's worked phenomenally well in my life to take key concepts, strategies, experience, actions, and things that people who are more successful than me and put them in action for myself, and I see the same results. There's really no secret to it. I'm sorry, there's no secret. I know many people are looking for the secret to success. It's really to follow others who have achieved it already and simply model them. There's no need to start over from scratch. So that is what this show is all about. Sit tight. It's going to be a great ride because we have the incomparable Lewis Crompton sitting, waiting in the wings. He's probably all juiced up on tea or coffee just to stay awake for us tonight because it's very, very early there. And I appreciate that so very much. And you will too. What a wonderful young man he is. Got to know him a little bit before we started. And the Mind, Body, Business Show, it really is about what I call the three pillars of success. The first being mind, and that is mindset. So all of the successful people I had studied over a good 10-year period, where I just studied only successful people to find out what made them tick, had these three components in common. Mind was they had a very, very powerful, yet more importantly, flexible mindset. And then body, to a person that of those that I studied, they took care of themselves, both nutritionally and physically. And then business. Business is so multifaceted. There are many skill sets that one must master in order to build a successful business and then to increasingly make it more successful as time goes on. There's skill sets like marketing, team building, leadership, systematizing, sales. I mean, I could go on and on. The thing is, to master or become an expert at any one skill set can take a long time. The good news is no one person ever needs to master all of them themselves. If they just master this one skill set, just one, and it's one of them that I mentioned just a moment ago. If you just master this one skill set, then you're really set. You don't have to master all the others. It's good to have knowledge and experience in other of those skill sets for sure, but you don't need to master every single one of them. And that one skill set that if you master it, you're set, is the skill set of leadership. Once you have mastered that skill set, then you can delegate to those who have mastered those areas that you had not yet mastered. Make sense? Again, there's no secret to this stuff, folks. It's really simple. It's just a matter of knowing the right recipe and then following it. It really comes down to that. And look, there are many different recipes for success, just like there are many different recipes for really tasty cakes, which I don't eat, but they're out there. And you just need to find one successful recipe and then go after it with everything you've got and follow it to a T. Speaking of successful people, another wonderful trait of very successful people that I have found in my walk is that they are all very voracious readers of books. And what I like to do with that is segue really quickly into a little segment I affectionately call Bookmark.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
There you see it, reachyourpeaklibrary.com. And just a real quick word of advice, write this stuff down, write down the resources. And instead of succumbing to that want and desire to go click away and open a tab and find out what we're talking about, instead of doing that, I implore of you to instead write it down and then visit these resources after the show's over. And why I say that is because the magic literally happens in the room. And what that means is if you're off, you're taking your attention elsewhere and researching these other websites and resources that you're going to hear about on the show. If you're doing that while the show is going, then it's very possible you're going to miss that one golden nugget that Lewis is going to talk about on the show that could change your life forever. And I would just hate for that to happen. So you can catch everything there is in this show, resources and all, if you just take notes, write everything down and stay with us. And also interact with us, ask questions, say hi, tell us where you're from. Give us likes and loves, all that stuff. We love interaction. So, and very, very happy to have you here. We thank you for spending your time with us not because of me, but because of Lewis Crompton, our wonderful, wonderful guest who's coming on just moments from now. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com. It is a resource that I had my team develop. And you may not believe me, but that's okay. Specifically for you, with you in mind. And the reason is because I was not a voracious reader until about 10 years ago. I'm going to be 57 at the end of this month. So about 47 years old, I finally started reading. And I realized, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I am changing. My business is flourishing because I'm reading the right books and I'm reading a lot of books. And so I began categorizing and cataloging all the books I personally had read that had a profound impact on either my business or my personal life or both. So that means not every book I've ever read is in this list. Not everyone makes the grade. And so this helps you because now you have a one-stop resource. You can go in there, and I'm sure if you're a book reader of any kind, you've already recognized some of them that are flowing up on the screen on reachyourpeaklibrary.com. And my advice to you is just find the first one that you have not read, because they're in no order on this site. They're just haphazardly thrown in there. Find the first one that looks like a good read and just go get it. And again, this is not a money-making website. That is not the purpose of this site. It is solely here to give you a very quick and easy way to find a very well-written and very great book that will give you results that you're looking for. And you can at least know that one other successful entrepreneur vets them. So that's for you, my gift. It truly is. It's a gift for all of you to be able to take advantage of that. And speaking of gifts, we have the biggest gift of all, and that is the gift of Mr. Lewis Crompton. So with that, it is time to bring this young man on. What do you think? I think we do. Here we go.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. It is the one, the only Lewis Crompton. Yes.
Thank you very much, Brian. Hello, everyone. Great to be here, even if it is early in the morning.
Is it 1:39 there or so?
It is, yes. You got that correct, yeah.
That is one dedicated young man right there, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much on behalf of everyone watching and listening, Lewis, for coming on at this incredibly weird hour for you. Much appreciated. Hey, before we jump in and really dive deep, I want to take care of some housekeeping, give a shout out to our sponsors. And one of those is right over Lewis's left shoulder on the right of your screen if you're watching. And that is the Big Insider Secrets. And there's a really dear friend of mine that owns that business. His name is Jason Nast. And because of them and because of him, we are able to give away a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, compliments of the Big Insider Secrets over there. I got to point the right way. And Jason Nast's company, we get to do this every single week because of that. So stay with us to the end. If you're watching live, you can qualify to win a vacation stay. And these are like they're not going to take you down in the basement and whip you. over the head and say, buy my timeshare. It has nothing to do with that. It's a legitimate vacation stay. So you'll definitely want to stick around for that. And then we have a couple more. Let's see if I can locate what I'm looking for. Here we go. All right. 2 more, and then we'll come on and squeeze the brilliance out of Mr. Crompton. Here we go. If you're struggling with putting on a live show together and it's overwhelming and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show, that's key, and connect with great people like Lewis Crompton and grow your business all at the same time, then head on over to carpetbombmarketing.com. Carpet Bomb Marketing, saturate the marketplace with your message. And one of the key components that is contained in the Carpet Bomb Marketing system is one that you'll learn how to absolutely master. It's the very service we use to stream our live shows right here and right now on the Mind Body Business Show. And over the course of, I'd say, over 9 years now, almost 10, we have tried many of these quote unquote TV studio solutions for live streaming. And StreamYard, in our opinion, is the best of the best. I'll say in my opinion, because it's really mine. It combines supreme ease of use with unmatched functionality, so you can start streaming high quality, professional looking live shows for free. And you can do that right now. But write this down. Don't go there. Write down this website, ryp.im/stream live. ryp.im/stream live. And now let's bring back the man of the hour. Yes, there he is, Lewis Crompton. And now we're going to give him the introduction he deserves. Are you ready? Is everyone ready? Are you ready, Lewis? Are you ready?
I'm ready for it.
All right. Lewis is a Forex trader, educator, coach, and business owner. He is passionate about empowering others in their personal finances and private lives. His personal style of entrepreneurship is to make money work hard for you rather than you working hard for the money. Oh, I like this already. Lewis started his entrepreneurial journey running a small food van at music festivals. Hey, I probably got food from you at one point. This gave him the bug to build businesses and create a life of his own design. And he now runs his property portfolio in the northeast of England. He trades the financial markets and is establishing new businesses from his laptop. He's living the laptop lifestyle. And so he's often been nicknamed the traveling investor, and he's traveled the globe for the past 4 years. And while doing so, he's teaching people to invest in both property and stocks. And he also has been asked to speak at events to small and large businesses with his message of personal value, motivation, and efficiency to crowds of up to 14,000 people. So with that, I want to welcome Lewis Crompton officially, formally to the show of the Mind Body Business Show. This is going to be a fun ride, my friend. Fun ride. All right. So let's dive right into it. Great accolades, and talking to you before the show, I realized you're a very accomplished individual and very successful in your own right. And you have an immense heart for helping people. And that's one of the things I love about you already. And what I wanted to do is peel back the onion, so to speak. So we know a little bit about your experience and your travels and where you're coming from and what you're successful at. What I like to find out and dig deeper on is what got you there. And usually, in nearly every case, yes, it's in every case, it all starts with what's going on between those ears of yours and that big, beautiful brain of yours. Like when you get up in the morning, Lewis, like today, and you know, it's going to start maybe really early, or you know that there's a big, arduous task awaiting you, because being an entrepreneur, it's all just rose petals and easy, right? No.
I wish.
Get up and you know that you have all of these tasks, these setbacks that are coming your way. We know it's happening. You've done this long enough to know. What is it that keeps you powering past them in your mind and keeps you going and motivated day in and day out to just keep crushing it all the time?
So for me, it comes down to people. People are the most important thing in the universe for me. So I will often go for a walk in the morning before I kind of start doing any work. And on that walk, I often find myself getting emotional automatically just about the fact that I want to have an impact on the world. I want to change people's lives. I want to change the world as best as I can. And that for me is the big drive, the big motivator. And everything I've done throughout my life comes down to that. I mean, I can remember being in a parking lot with a friend of mine called Jana, she's a number of years older than me. I'm not gonna count the years because she wouldn't thank me for that. But she's a number of years older than me, and I was in probably my early 20s, and she asked me, "What do you want to do with your life, Lewis?" And I remember just not breaking down is a bit extreme, but tears in my eyes and just thinking, all I want to do is change people's lives for the better. In one sense, I don't care what that is, how that is. I just know that I want to change people's lives for the better. I always caveat that because you could change people's lives not for the better, but I do want to change them for the better. So yes, it was that. And when I was at that point, I trained in the church as a counselor, like therapist type thing, as a minister, and I was doing it in that way. So that's where it first kind of originated. And I think that Christian upbringing that I had, that church upbringing that I had, made me very aware that not everyone has it easy. Not everyone has a good time of it. And we should be, at least in what was built in me, is we should be looking to help other people. And that really did take root as a seed that's grown and grown and grown over the years, to the point where if I don't work hard enough sometimes, or I'm not on it as much as I want to be, it upsets me deeply because I'm not having the level of impact that I want to have. And I'm still not, even when I work very hard, I'm not having the level of impact I want to have, because there's not really a cap on where that is, because I just want to help as many people as I possibly can, in as many different ways as I can, really. So yes, I train as a counselor in church, and I helped a lot of people, again, around the world in that capacity. And at the moment, the primary drive I have is teaching people how to trade, how to invest in stock, shares, currencies, which is Forex stuff, also crypto if they want to look at that. The skill set that I have covers every type of financial market. And that helps improve people's personal finances, which, if you get that right, just changes so much and takes so much pressure off and stress off, and leaves people in a far, far better position than they were before.
I got to tell you, and this has been true of so many people I've run into, that the more successful people are concentrated more on other people than themselves.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be this common thread. And, I've got to give it to you, man. You know what that was? You know what that was? That moment? It was a bomb dropping moment.
Yes, I got it.
And yeah, all kidding aside, that is amazing. And it is such a common denominator of successful people. It's, you didn't say, well, I get up because my drive is making more money so I can have a bigger house and a nicer car and all the material things, or even a nicer place for my family. It wasn't about you or anything central to you. It was about other people. Mm-hmm. And I find that the more successful one is they think more that way. In general, I'm not saying to a person, there are those that don't, but I love that. And that's what I love about entrepreneurs in general. Mm-hmm. Most entrepreneurs that I've run into, and probably you as well, Lewis, like you go to these networking events, seminars, boot camps, and I just feel like I'm in midst of my family, mm-hmm. My second family that I wasn't with earlier. Hey, Gracie Ruth Melendez says, hello from sunny California. All right. That's where I'm from, Gracie.
I love California. Absolutely love California. Spent a lot of time in and around Riverside and Big Bear and that kind of area. So yeah, love it over there.
Love Big Bear. Hey, next time you're around, you gotta give me a jingle there. We gotta hook up, get some coffee or tea or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Whatever isn't important. It's just meet up. And then, this guy, I love this guy, Prince Io, driving and learning with Brian Kelly and his guys. Drive careful, my man. Drive careful. I hope you're just listening and not watching. Keep your eyes on the road because you are such a gem. I know Prince Io personally. He's an amazing. Talk about heart-centered entrepreneurs. Lewis, you, Prince, and I'm sure Gracie as well, because she's from California. You got to be, right? Oh my goodness. So I was talking about a little bit in the opening of the show about reading and how successful people in general read a lot, and they read what is pertinent to help them to excel at whatever they're doing. There's nothing wrong with reading fiction and relaxing and enjoying that. I'm not making that the message at all, but for those that want to really excel in business, reading books about business, about personal development, about mindset, about everything that goes with the mind, body, business arena, then you will see success. So would you consider yourself, Lewis, to also be an avid reader? I'm going to guess the answer is yes. He's nodding already.
The answer is yes. Yeah.
So what book are you reading right now, or books? Gosh, how many times I've interviewed people and I'm reading 3 at the same time. It's like, I literally don't know how they do that.
Oh, I couldn't cope. No, my brain doesn't work that way. And so I do a lot of, like I said, I go for walks in the morning. So I often will listen to audiobooks. I quite like absorbing information that way. But I also, at the same point, love to highlight when I'm reading through a book. So I'm caught between this constant tension of I want to devour as many books as possible, and audiobooks are really good for that. But also I want to take notes and highlight things. So I'm reading a book at the moment called Clockwork by Mike Michalowicz. I don't know how to pronounce his surname, but yeah, it's really, really good. All about designing your business to run itself, and I very much want to be a business owner rather than a cog in my business, which is where I want to grow it to eventually. At the moment, I'm very, very hands-on with my students that are in my business, and I do love that. That's really where I want to be, but I'm trying to automate all the other parts of the business, so I have more time to give more value and give more of my time to my students. Is the goal. So yeah, it's a really, really good book, and he's written loads of books on business. He's a guy that came up with the Pumpkin Plan. He wrote that book, which is also really, really good, how you stand out in your particular field. Really, really interesting book. Took a lot away from that as well. But yeah, I actually run a free book club on a monthly basis, which is largely investors and entrepreneurs as well that come along to that, with varying degrees of commitment, because it is free. Which is something I've noticed as well over time. If it's free, people don't value it in the same way, so it's harder work to actually get attendance. So but I love that. It keeps me reading. We as a collective will focus on one book a month. Nothing to stop you reading other books at the same time, but then we have a really great discussion about it.
That's fantastic. So Clockwork by Mike M.
Yeah, Mike M. Michael Owitz, something like that. Yeah.
So here's one thing I like to tell folks, and I do this now quite often when I hear someone like you talk about a book and give it praise. This is what I love Audible too, Lewis. That's my go-to, because if you want to highlight, there is a hybrid where you can get, I think it's Kindle, where you can combine the audio with it, and it will actually read for you along with you, and you could pause it and highlight if you want it that way. That's another way to try to ingest it. But I love Audible because I can be working out like on a treadmill or something that doesn't require concentrating on the muscle that you're working out, things like that, or in the car, on the bike, on a walk. It's phenomenal. But here's what I like to say to folks is whenever someone like Lewis comes on and they talk about a book and give it praise and say it has impact on me and my business, is when this show's over, I'm going to be on Audible and it's going to be in my library. And I'm not saying that to say, oh, look at Brian. No, I'm saying, look at Lewis and do what he does. I'm pointing the wrong way again. I've done the show for like 30,000 years and I'm all confused today. And so do what Lewis does, model success. He's reading a book. He's giving it praise. It's going to help him to systematize his business so he can step away from the grind, the daily stuff that he doesn't really need to be involved in. So he can use his brilliance and his passion for people to give them better results, because he's spending less time on the stuff that he really shouldn't be spending on. That's just being a smart business person, continually stepping farther away from the business as far as you want to. So Lewis has a passion to stay one-on-one for however long, right? And it may be forever. That's okay, whatever his passion is. But for him, he still has other areas he would like to step away from. And I think everybody here, including yours truly, all have more of those areas. I'm doing the same thing, Lewis. This is like spot on. Just hired a VA who is crushing it and doing a bunch of stuff. I was like, wow, I should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it's a godsend to have help and then systems in place, automation, things like that, all together. Fantastic. Goodness sakes. How did you get into Forex trading? This isn't, I've seen a lot of people, it seems to be like, with Bitcoin coming and having all this craze about Bitcoin, I've seen Forex trading rise in popularity right with it. What's going on? What is it about Forex trading, and how did you get involved in it?
I think there's the reason behind the rise is that, particularly at the moment, people are so aware that relying on one income stream is not a good way to be. I mean, the pandemic over the past 18 months has taught us that we can't rely on one thing. So I think people are looking in general for ways to generate and create some form of additional income. So I think that's where we've seen the rise. People don't trust in the same way the big institutional banks and everything like that. So they're looking for decentralized finance, which is what crypto is. So we've seen that rise coming as a result of that. With Forex and how I got involved, I actually signed up for a Rich Dad education. So Robert Kiyosaki, if anyone's heard of him, signed up for one of his seminars on property investment, actually. But I call it divine intervention. What I'd actually done is I unintentionally signed up for the wrong seminar. So when I turned up to the property one, they said your name's not on the list, but they found my list on the Forex trading seminar. So I was like, well, I'm here now. It was a rainy day in October, I think, in London, in a hotel called the Bloomsbury Hotel. So I went along to that seminar, sat through the 2-hour teaching session, which was really just a sales pitch for a weekend training. I was completely sold, put my hand up, ran to the back of the room, all of that, and paid a fair amount of money for this weekend training. Then did the weekend training, which was an upsell to a 9-month training course with coaching and mentorship and everything like that. And I signed up for that as well. So took out a credit card, took out a loan, just gave all my money to this thing, which I'm glad I did. Looking back, I would not behave in that way, knowing what I now know about financial behavior and everything. But the fact I was so invested meant I had to make it work. So I got to it. I got to work 7 months after being on that Rich Dad event. I left my job, which was working in the head offices of a large retail chain in the UK, doing sales analysis, logistics, distribution, that type of thing. So I left my job, and that's when I started trading full time and traveling the world, which was phenomenal. And then about 12 months after being a full-time trader, which now is a bit of a misnomer in terms, because I only trade for a maximum of 30 minutes a day, and that's what I teach barely any time at all, and that's what I teach my students to do as well, just 30 minutes a day. Rich Dad, after 12 months of doing this full-time, asked me if I would come back and do some teaching for them. So then for the next 4 or 5 years, I was traveling the world whilst dropping off into different Rich Dad events, teaching people how to do this thing as well, and I taught for them. And then I decided about 2 years ago that I didn't want to travel quite so much, and I wanted to do my own thing. Just part of the progression and the evolution, isn't it, really? So I launched my own training, and it's gone phenomenally well, and students are getting results, which is the primary reason why I did it.
Lordy. I mean, there were so many golden nuggets there that we got to do it again.
Come on, yes. Love it.
Oh my goodness. So one of the biggest takeaways I got from what you just said, and you put a lot into that one little paragraph of great information, was basically it's like this global human truth that if you don't have skin in the game, in other words, if you're not invested in something, you're less likely to invest yourself into completing it and finishing the race. And so in your case, you said it, because you invested, you felt the need to really take it through the end. And that's what happens to everybody. And so many people want to give their stuff away for free because, and it feels good. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons it feels good to give away for free. The interesting thing is that's actually doing most people that you feel you're helping a disservice.
Yeah.
That it's reverse psychology. Is like, well, you need to charge them. And in fact, you need to charge them considerably more than you would think that you would pay for it, because we all devalue our own stuff. And you could find out from other people, what do you think this is worth? But yeah, when you start charging for it and people pay it, they're much more likely to really put it in action and get use from it. Because this is what I like to call it, Lewis. If somebody, I've had this happen, literally. I've gone to events and I would be a friend of one of the speakers, and they'd introduce me. Oh, since you're a friend, here's my $5,000 package for free. DVDs back before we had thumb drives. I'd bring it home, And you know how many of those DVDs I watched? A big fat zero. And you know where
Yeah.
it ended up? It was a big case, right? So I put them up on my shelf. So that self-help became shelf help. It became
Well,
worthless
yeah.
because I had no skin in the game. I didn't invest in it. Did I think it was of value? Yeah, I thought it was of value, but I didn't deep down because I didn't have skin in the game. That was a huge lesson right there that you just gave to everyone. And I think for all businesses and entrepreneurs, it's a good idea to put a price tag on nearly everything that you offer, especially if you've poured a lot of time into it. But more importantly, so that the end result is that person will get the result they're looking for because they put skin in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I learned that lesson for the first time was when I said I trained as a counselor, and I actually worked with a ministry in California, and they're the ones who trained me, which is why I spent so much time in California. And they would charge, I think it was $100 an hour for a session, and I thought that was quite a lot of money. But then we did quite a few pro bono, so free sessions with people, and you could just tell the difference between who had paid for their session and who hadn't paid for their session. The people who hadn't, and again, it's a generalization, it's not true of everyone, it'd be unfair to say it is, but in general, they would waste time, they'd be late, they'd maybe not turn up, they, even if they're in the session, would just spend more time talking rather than actually doing the work which they were there to do. Whereas people who paid for it turned up, they were on time, they wanted to be there, they were putting the work in, they were dealing with whatever they were dealing with and actually facing and confronting it. They were so much more invested. So I learned that lesson very, very early on. Yeah.
A valuable lesson for sure. And so many don't learn it for years, decades. I'm one of those. It just took a while. So you learn more and more stuff as you go through, and you learn by being immersed in certain environments and being with mentors and people that have been there before you. And so everyone learns these nuggets in different order and at different times. But if you're not going out there, if you're not showing up, if you're not reading books, if you're not stepping into the game, you'll never learn them. So the more you engage in life, in going to seminars and network, now that we're able to move about a little bit more, that would be a good thing to engage in. Go on online summits, all of that. It pays off huge. So you said something earlier. I know everyone watching or listening to this is asking themselves right now. It's like they're probably stuck on it and haven't heard another word you said because of it. They're going, all right, what the heck, Lewis? 30 minutes a day. What the heck do you do with the rest of the time of your day when you're done with your business for the entire day in 30 minutes?
Yeah. So the 30 minutes isn't what I spend on my business. That's on my own personal trading. So when I'm trading, I only spend 30 minutes, and I either do that in the morning or the evening. The style of trading that I teach is very, very flexible in terms of when you need to do it. Yes, you need to do it on a daily basis, but it's very flexible as to when that is. And I always recommend either the morning when you first get up or the evening before you go to bed. And the reason for that being that the markets are quieter, so you've got less movement happening, so it's easier to see what's already happened and make a decision based off of that. Because everything I do is primarily pattern based and what's called technical analysis, which allows us to spend a lot less time actually in the markets, on the markets. We don't have to be reading the newspapers, we don't have to be reading news articles and understanding everything that's going on economically in every single country around the world. We don't have to do that, and we can still be very, very successful with the percentage returns we make. I mean, I had a student last month make 11% in 1 month. Absolutely phenomenal. And that's not an isolated case. Like that happens frequently. My general goal for my students is around the 6-month mark to be making 5% per month or more. And so that's where I spend the majority of my time, and when I'm not trading myself, is teaching my students to get that level of results and giving them that feedback. I'm a big believer that if you want to be successful in anything, really, you need to have some form of feedback loop. And it's very, very true with trading. Trading is one of those skill sets, and it is a skill set. It's one of those skill sets which, if you're 1 degree off, very quickly you're 100 degrees off just by being that 1 degree off early on. And if you don't know what you don't know, you can't spot when you're making a mistake. And I think one of the core gifts that I have inherently is that I'm clever enough to know that I'm dumb enough that I need help. And so that's one of my core gifts. And I always looked for mentors, coaches, people to feed back to me on what I'm doing, who know what they're doing, because it just sped up my process. That's why I was able to leave my job in just 7 months learning to trade, rather than I was actually on that weekend course with my best friend, the friend I grew up with. We went to nursery, primary school, youth group together, all of that. I was best man at his wedding. We were sat at the same event. 8 years on, is he financially free trader? No. Am I? Yes. What was the difference? I decided to invest in myself, put skin in the game, and get mentored and coached in how to do this correctly. And he didn't. That's the primary difference. And he's way smarter than me. If we ever play a board game or Monopoly or anything like that, he's the winner, not me. But when it comes to life and investing in myself, I won on that one.
Invest in yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. And another golden nugget there is coaching and being coachable. There's two different things there. One is, I loved how you said, I can't remember exactly how you said it. You said it very well, that you were so smart that you understood when you were not smart, or that you were smart enough to get help, something like that. But it's being aware that it's okay to get help. A lot of guys, especially with the egos, think I can do this all myself. And if I go get help, it's a sign of weakness. It's going to be a sign of weakness for the rest of your life if you don't get help, because financially and success wise. I think we as humans, we were put on this earth to do things together, not alone and not in a vacuum. And when we join forces, better things happen. And the fact that you seek out coaching and mentoring at all times, I want everyone to understand this and listen. That's watching and listening right now. Please do the same. Every time I've had a coach, I had the greatest speaking coaches for speaking on stage, and my improvement went up exponentially after I got their feedback. And here's the thing: if you have a strong ego, the feedback hurts.
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning, I had a strong ego. I didn't know it, but man, it hurt. And it was funny because after I got the feedback and it hurt, I went back on stage and implemented what they told me. I came back for my next feedback session, and because of their glaring about you just improved like many-fold in one time. You still have things to work on. Here they are. But I then said, oh, okay, that didn't hurt as bad. Still a little bit, but it hurt less and less. The thing was, Lewis, man, I got to the point where if there were times where the main guy that reviewed my speaking performances, if you will, there were certain times he couldn't make it during certain sessions. And I would hate that, because now I knew I would not get the feedback that would catapult me many-fold times farther again the very next time I went up on stage. So it's not easy. I'm going to tell everybody straight up, especially in the beginning. But once you start seeing the results from it, you're going to go, I can't wait to get more feedback. And I can't. I honestly love getting the feedback, because the results are so more important than how I feel about it. So have you found that to be true with any of the coaches or mentors you have, that, the key is getting that honest feedback with love? They're there to help you, but if they sugarcoat it too much, it isn't helping you at all. Do you look for those that have, straight between the eyes? I'm just going to give it to you straight, Lewis. Yeah.
I've had one of my mentors on a couple of occasions. What's the phrase to use? Tear me a new one when it was required, because I was just being childish and throwing my toys out the pram about something. I can't remember, and he just down the line straight away cut through all of my rubbish and just told it to me straight. But we have that dynamic and that friendship as well, which underpins our relationship, because he is my mentor. So you have that in place. And I think anybody that I coach or mentor on a one-to-one, it's far more likely that we'll become friends through that process. Because why? They're actually like-minded. They're willing to invest in themselves. They're willing to learn. They're wanting to take direction. They're wanting to pursue a similar thing to what you're pursuing or have been pursuing. So yeah, it often happens that way, that you build these connections. Like you said, you go to events and you speak to people who are of a similar mindset, and you feel like you're at home, you're around family. And sometimes the only way to get around those people is to pay for it, unfortunately, because their time is precious. And I'm a big believer that time is the most precious thing that we have, and anything I can do to maximize the time that I have, to do what I want to do, I'm all for it. And so if I can shortcut that process by paying someone to show me how to shortcut that process, sign me up.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful cycle. So many people will avoid investing because they say, well, I'm trying to make more money. Now you're telling me to spend more money. It's like, yeah, that's why they call it investing. You invest it and it will grow over time. You won't see cash flying from the sky immediately, but what you'll find over time, if you keep being persistent, you do it with discipline, do it like Lewis, keep going and find another coach, another mentor. Sometimes, some people say do it within your means. I say do it a little bit outside of your means, because if you have to actually scratch and claw to get enough money that is not currently in your account, but it's within reach, well, again, you'll have more skin in the game and you'll crush it during that mentorship, as opposed to before. And look, you put this money into it, you invest it, you're literally buying yourself time, in the sense that you're saving the amount of time it's going to take you to reach that pinnacle of success that you're looking for. And so if people could see through the trees and note that what was on the other side, right? I think many more people would be saying, going after Lewis Crompton and saying, will you be my mentor? Because you are very, very knowledgeable, very wise. You're very humble. You're very honest. You've got all the traits I would want in somebody to coach. And my mentor, the one I'm talking about, he could literally be my son by age.
Wow.
Age doesn't matter. Race doesn't matter. Gender doesn't matter. Results is what matters. And the beautiful human component is what matters, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And you do have to be wise with who you pick. But you're completely right as well. You are investing in your future by investing in a coach or a mentor. You just are. I remember when my first business coach, I remember being sat there saying, but can you guarantee that I will get results? I was that person that asked that question, and I get asked it as well as a Forex coach, as a trading coach. And the problem is I can guarantee that my process will teach you how to be successful in the financial markets. I can guarantee that. Can I guarantee you're going to do the work? No, I can't. So I can't guarantee your results. I can guarantee you that the system you learn will protect your capital, show you how to make money, and show you how to have a skill for life. I can't guarantee you're going to use that knowledge that I've given you. So that's always a tricky one.
Yeah, I wasn't queued up with the bombs. That was another because it's so true that folks are looking for some kind of certainty. That's what they're looking for when they're asking for guarantees. And it really, the unfortunate part about that kind of thinking is some of those will never make it because they're always looking for someone else to make it happen for them. And that's what that means when they're saying, can you guarantee it for me? But you can say, like, I can only guarantee it if you, number one, follow my process, and number two, you do the work. And there's a lot of it. You've got to really, pull up the sleeves and get to work. If you do both, then I would say, yeah, I'll guarantee it then. But that second part is the intangible part that we can't guarantee, isn't it?
Yeah. I can never guarantee your effort. I can guarantee my effort.
Exactly.
And I can guarantee that my process has yielded X number of successful traders. So the process works. It's down to you to now make it work.
Yeah. And it's a good message for people to get, like, that's one of those direct between the eyes. Like, you got to pony up and put in the effort and the time. And a lot of people think it's minimal, that it doesn't take much. That it's going to be a cakewalk because they have something to follow that Lewis put together. You know what? That's not the way life works. But if you keep at it over and over, day after day, week after week, and like Lewis is saying, you'll get better at it, but you just keep following his approach and keep putting in the effort, you're bound to find the success that both he and a lot of his students have. So it's like, I don't know. It's difficult to tell people who have never been through it, what they're about to go through to become successful, it takes
Yeah.
some serious drive, usually.
And it is that thing of consistency. Keep doing the thing which needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can definitely be consistent on the wrong things. One thing is that my mentor taught me is macro and micro. So are you doing the micro things consistently, which don't really make a big difference, but you feel like you're doing the right thing, but it's micro, versus the macro things, which if you kept doing the macro things consistently would make a massive difference within your business. And people do focus sometimes too much on the micro and not enough on the macro.
That's so true. I mean, they're worried about the color of their logo for their website or their business card. Oh my God, if I see another one of those, I don't even care. I haven't carried one for years. You don't need to anymore with phones, but back before the cell phones were so widely popular and used, All right. So I want to find out there, one of my favorite parts of business, all of business, because it's an art form and there's so many ways to do it, is that thing called marketing. Mm-hmm. There are different businesses. There's brick and mortar businesses. There's online businesses. There's service oriented. There's physical product. The list goes on and on. And so marketing for each of those can be very different to achieve success. And one of my favorite questions that I ask people like you, Lewis, and here's the thing: what is working today for you in marketing most likely wasn't the thing that would work 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it's highly likely that 10 years from now, it may not be working anymore effectively. I don't know. 10 years is just a number, but it's similar to like the real estate market, always doing up and down. So what is, so the reason I frame it that way is I want to find out from you what right now at this moment in marketing is working best for you and your business.
So I do a number of different, excuse me, sorry. Oh, dear me, frog in my throat. It's too early in the morning. So I do a number of different marketing strategies. I would say the one that's probably working for me best at the moment is partnerships. So on a low-level partnership, that would be being on a podcast or something like that. So it's a low-level partnership. We kind of merge our pools in terms of people that we have as an audience. I love doing that. The kind of another level in terms of partnerships is where we actually do an event together. This past 18 months, that's been online events, which I don't enjoy as much as in-person events. I love the energy from the crowd, seeing people, looking them in the eyes, the whites of their eyes, getting a feel for them, being around at the end to do question and answer, that type of thing, in that more intimate way. Because people always come up to me at the end of live events and ask really personal one-on-one questions, and you have a really great conversation. You get to actually connect with people in a different way, which I love. So yeah, those partnerships where we do online events. I mean, I've done them with people who've been on Shark Tank in South Africa. I'm looking at partnering with a guy who's a very, very successful business buying entrepreneur who's based out of Dubai. Well, I say based out of Dubai, lives all over the world in different houses he got. So I love doing that. And I'm always open to partnering, small, large. I mean, I did a partnership with a school in South Africa, just a small one. They wanted me to do a video. It's not a sales thing. It's not a marketing thing really, but I get to engage and share some of what I know and how I live and operate with the next generation. So that was fun as well. So partnering has been the best way so far. A lot of my marketing is really word of mouth. I focus a lot of my effort and attention into giving my students the best possible experience of coaching and mentoring, and also just the course as well. So I've had a lot of word of mouth referral over the past 18 months or so, and maybe it helps that I give them a referral fee if somebody does become part of my business, because in my opinion, and it's a very generous compensation scheme, because my opinion is, if this individual has helped me build my business by bringing somebody in, they should share in some of the fruit, some of the profit from it. So I'm very happy to do that as well. So those have probably been the two main ways that my business has grown over the past 18 months.
And what it comes down to, and this is for everyone listening, because I was very much against doing what you're talking about, which I encapsulate into one word, and that's relationships. building one-on-one relationships. I'm a automation freak. So I was anti one-on-one relationships. I was all about blast the messages out to thousands to do the work of, many in one shot, but there's no connection being made there. And it took me until, it's been about 7 years ago, I finally realized, wow, there's a lot to this whole relationship thing. And one-on-one is so vitally important. And the interesting thing I also found out is it can end up being even more lucrative than doing the mass touching with one, stroke of a key or a mouse, using email blasts and things like that to get to the masses. And everything you said, attending seminars and boot camps and being there one-on-one, establishing partnerships with people so you can be there with, you're such a people-oriented guy. That's why, in my humble opinion, you are so successful, because you did it right from an early age. You were talking about your early 20s. That's what I thought you are now. You can't be.
Yeah, I'm older than I look, especially with this lighting. That's why I chose it. Yeah.
I don't think it's lighting, brother. You just you're living the life the way it was intended to be lived, with less stress than a lot of people go through. Stress will age people and cause those gray hairs to poke through, like you see there right there. There's some right there. But I earned these. I'm wearing them like a trophy. My goodness. Time just slips away. So look, I was telling everybody to write notes during the show. I'm running the show. I'm changing scenes. I'm doing the bombs. I'm doing all this stuff. And I myself am taking the notes. I got a full page here. I don't have any room left. And I can't. I'm glad that you've agreed to go for a 2-hour show instead of one. So we only have an hour to go. I'm totally kidding. He needs to get some sleep after this one. Marketing through partnerships, relationships, word of mouth, and events. So fantastic. And I wanted to find out, so we talked a little bit before we started. So to be clear to everyone, what the form of trading that Lewis is successful at is not day trading, where you're up all hours of the day doing it and watching and learning. It's called swing trading. That only takes 30 minutes a day. And so I wanted to ask you, so you could tell the folks, Lewis, what is your ideal client? What are the kind of people you're looking to help, and why? Why this kind of trading to help them?
Mm-hmm. So my main focus in terms of clients, I'll teach anybody that wants to learn to trade, but my focus would be people who are entrepreneurial in nature. They have a passion that they kind of have that maybe have set their business up around, but they want to also have a additional stream of income. They want to make their money work harder for them. They want to invest their money, but they don't have a lot of time to do that. So what I teach them to do is to create a safe, a sustainable, and ongoing, fairly stable income stream through trading Forex and financial markets in a consistent, safe, controlled, and measured way. And that's where I focus. So men and women between the age of 25 to probably 45 is the goal. But I'm a big believer that there's no age limit on learning. So anybody that wants to learn, I'm more than happy to engage with. Yeah, and they can be anywhere in the world. I've got students in Canada, America, Australia, China, all over the place. So it is an international skill, which gives you that low time commitment. Yes, you need to learn what you're doing, but low time commitment, and means that you can trade anywhere, anytime, on your own terms, and all you need is a laptop or a computer and an internet connection, which is what attracted me to it in the first place.
Can you do it on a phone?
You can, but I don't recommend it because phones are too small. Even the large ones, they're too small to do any decent analysis. So you can, I just don't recommend it. Have I done it myself in the past? Yes. But better to do it on a laptop because you've got more functionality in terms of the analysis tools which you're going to be using.
So I invested many moons ago using technical analysis. So I kind of understand what you're talking about with the charts, and you're looking for certain patterns and all that fun stuff. And I love the fact that it's just based on the data, not on all the news and stuff you were talking about. Because oh my God, that would drive me nuts. You would have to be a full timer to do that.
You would do. You would do.
Or an overtimer.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You can just look at historical data and know from what happened in the past after that certain point to what the odds were it's going to happen again, you can now make an informed decision and hope that it works out. So you've nailed it down. You figured it out. You know how to make or to help people become successful at trading 30 minutes a day. And I'm repeating that on purpose because for those of you that are watching this either live or recorded, or you're listening on a podcast, his name is Lewis Crompton. We're going to give you all his contact info. And in fact, he has some wonderful gifts to give away as well. And so first I wanted to bring up your website, Lewis, and I think that's where folks can get a taste of. It was your ebook, I believe. Let me make sure I've got it right before I pull it up on the screen. Yep, there it is. And if you wouldn't mind, just give people a little description of what it is, what they'll get from it, and how it will help them. Here we go.
Yes, so the ebook is going to teach you a lot of what I know about trading. So it's going to show you how I became successful, what I did, the journey I went through, and it's going to teach you what you need to know to stay safe if you're going to start investing in the markets. There's 3 key elements in particular when it comes to protecting your money whilst investing, and that book is going to cover those elements for you, as well as showing you the wider context of how it is you can become a successful trader as well, and the components you need to have in place if you want to be a successful trader, trading for, yes, just 30 minutes a day once you know what it is that you're doing. So I highly recommend it. There's got some great stories in there. It's got my journey in there. It's going to give you, and it's as ebooks go, it's quite large. So there's a load of information packed in there. It's not just a, hey, you should try trading. There's a load of detail packed into that, load of value packed into that. It's going to tell you what you need to know if you're even just marginally interested in trading. It's going to show you if actually trading is for you or not.
I pressed it. Stop. Give me the book. I just want it. So I'm going to keep that up on the screen so I can grab that myself, because this is a fairly new territory for me personally. And then also, so we have a couple gifts to give away. One is, of course, the vacation giveaway, vacation stay. And we're going to do that very shortly. And then we also have one from this fine young man, Lewis Crompton, as well. And so to do that, we'll do that in just a moment. But first, there is this one question I like to ask, Lewis, of all guests who have been on the show. And I hope you didn't cheat and listen too closely to the previous shows, because I know you've listened to some of them. And I'm just saying that with fun about cheating. But this last question, it's just been profound, the answers that I've been getting from entrepreneurs. And when I first started asking this question, I didn't do it every show, but it came across as a question that, you know, how you got to choose the questions that were asked of you tonight or this morning for you. And then I started going, my gosh, this is a profound and powerful question, because of the responses I'm getting are just unbelievable. And so what I like to do is ask that, and that's what we'll close the show out with. So just wanted to kind of grease the skids there and let you know that's coming, because right before we do that, I did promise everyone that they were going to have a way to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort, compliments of the big insider secrets. And so I think Lewis will agree that at this very moment, just for a little bit, you can now take your gaze away from the screen, unless you're already on your phone, and bring up your phone and pull up your email or your web address. You can do this on your laptop or desktop as well. And all you have to do is go to this URL that you see on the screen. If you're watching, and again, this is for live viewers only, this just go to this URL, this website. It's ryp.im/vacation. RYP, that stands for Reach Your Peak, my company, ryp.im/vacation. All you have to do is enter in your information in the form, and you will be entered. It's that simple. And we will pick a random winner as we do each and every show, and we'll announce it to you directly through your email address. And we'll also announce it on Facebook with your permission only. That we don't do that unless you give us your permission. And so I hope you win. I hope you're the winner, all of you, every one of you, but only one of you get to win this time. So just keep coming back to the show if you didn't win this time. That's it. It's easy. Once a week. That's it. And you get to meet incredible people like Lewis Crompton, who I think is a vampire. He's awake, and it's only 2:30 in the morning or so where he's at. I don't know how he does it. That's probably what turned his hair all white and gray from his picture. I'm just totally kidding. He used to have hair, and mine's gone, so who am I to say? All right, so Lewis also has an amazing gift for everyone. So I think you know what that is, Mr. Crompton. So what I'm going to do is turn it over to you and let folks know how they can get your amazing gift as well.
Yes, so this is what I call the Star Trading Foundations course. So it's not the full training, it's a taster, it's a version of, but it's some of the key information. Again, my whole ethos behind what I do is I want to make everybody who wants to invest in the financial markets be able to do that in the safest possible way. So not only will this course give you a taster of how I trade, what I trade, and why I trade, it's also going to give you the key bits of information you need to make sure that you are staying safe in the financial markets, how we calculate our risk, how we protect our risk, how we make the most reward from our trades as well. So there's a load of stuff included in that taster, in that foundation course. Normally I would charge £95. I'm not entirely sure what the conversion rate is for that, depending on what country you're listening from. But I'm giving it to you for free. So that's going to be available for the next 2 weeks for free. Now, if you're watching this on the podcast, which comes out after 2 weeks from this being done, then don't worry. If you drop me a message, you can find me on Instagram. My contact details will probably be in the show notes, I'm sure. And my Instagram is just at Lewis_Crompton. You'll find me there. Then if you contact me because you've listened to this on the podcast and you want access to that, but it's no longer live on the website because it will be there for just 2 weeks, then drop me a message, let me know, and I will give you access if you tell me you listened to the Mind Body Business Show. So there you go. That's there for all of you.
That is an absolutely amazing gift, and I love how you did that, where it's not just 2 weeks and then it's gone forever. And those that are listening to the podcast right now, which is well after the live show has come on video, then you are given a way to do it as well. And all you have to do is reach out to him, and you see his name. Well, if you're listening, you don't see his name. It's at Lewis. That's LEWIS _ Crompton. CROMPTON. Just want to make sure you've got that. And I'm also going to drop a couple of links in the chat area for those of you that are either watching on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, all those that accept comments. I'll drop those in as well. So I'll give you both links, both for the ebook and for this free. I like how you call it a taster. That's kind of cool. I've not heard that before. I'm going to give you a taste of what you're going to get in the big picture. So let me get a few things put in order here, and then I'm going to put this in the comments for all to just easily click the link. And what I'll also do real quick, I'll put it up on the screen because it's good for people to see where they're going. So the ebook is located at this web address, and I'm going to say it audibly as well because of those just listening on podcast. It is startradingnow.com /Forex or hyphen. And the rest is all together, no spaces, and there are no spaces in any of this. So it's Forex ebook 471000869. So startradingnow.com /Forex ebook 471000869. And if you're listening to the podcast while driving, I hope you pulled over to write that down. And if not, you can just rewind it back to do the same, but please be safe. And then for the taster, if you will, of his Start Trading courses, so go to starttrading.teachable.com /P as in Paul, and that's a lowercase p. Everything's lowercase here, /start. Oh, I did it again. Star Trading hyphen or dash foundations, plural. So one more time, starttrading.teachable.com /P /start. Gosh, Star Trading dash foundation. Star Trading. There, Star Trading dash.
It's a tricky play on words that does trip people up. Yeah. because I want you to start trading.
Yeah, I misread it one time in the very beginning, and it's stuck. It's the human mind is a beautiful thing. It's a wondrous thing, and it's a confusing thing. Especially this one, mine. There's a great lyric. I challenge anyone to answer where this came from, but I love it. It's, does the noise inside my head bother you?
Okay. I don't know where that's from, but yeah.
You could find it easy with a Google search, and it might shock you which band it comes from. They've been around a long time. That's one hint. They're not from the UK, another hint. Because most bands seem to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just kind of narrows it down a little bit. All right. So it's time for that question. We've actually extended over time a little bit, but good thing I'm not paying for the studio time as well. That's the beautiful thing about having your own show and being in control of everything. Not that I'm a control freak or anything like that, but we have that wonderful final question for you, Lewis. The great news about this question is there's no such thing as a wrong answer. The only correct answer is yours. And so it's very unique to you. And if it takes you a moment to come up with the answer, it's unique to you. It doesn't matter. If it takes you an instant, great. It's unique to you. It doesn't matter. Again, we're not paying for the airtime. The film doesn't cost us any money. So whatever it takes for you to come up with your answer is just right for you. Does that sound cool?
Sounds good.
All right, let me get things queued up here. Doing things a little differently tonight. So I'm going to make sure we do this right because this is a big moment, Lewis. Not to build it up too much, but it's a big moment. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Of course you're ready. You are Lewis Crompton. All right, here we go. Lewis Crompton, how do you define success?
Oh, brilliant question. Because this is something I ask my students all the time. They have to define their success. But for me to answer it, I define my success as how many people I've managed to help. That's how I define my success. And by help, I suppose I should define that as well. What I mean is, have I had a positive impact on their existence on this planet? Have I left them better for having met me? And if I can say on a daily basis that the people I encounter today have been bettered in some capacity or had just even a nice word said from me or a smile at the right time, then that is success. Although I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not particularly money motivated. I'm definitely people orientated and wanting to change the world one person at a time. So that's how I measure my success, is have I left people today in a better state than when I found them or when I engaged with them. And that for me means I can have a success on a daily basis. And that's what I love to do.
You know what's coming, don't you?
Yes, another one. Fantastic.
Oh my goodness, Lewis Crompton, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. Going to bring everything back on camera. It's been just such a thrill. I've learned so much, to be honest. I'm not a big Forex trader. To me, the first time I heard that before you came on, I thought we were talking day trading, where it's like, maniacal and you're going at it all day long and it's early. I've heard of others getting up at 2 and 3 in the morning because that's when the market's open on their time. And I just thought, oh, poor guy. And then he came on and he said 30 minutes. I was like, what? That's amazing. That is very attractive to many people, I'm sure. And it's 30 minutes a day to do the trading. I'm sure there's training involved. So I said trading. I'm sure there's training involved to get to that point. And so you say it takes a certain amount of time to train to get to where you should start trading. When can someone realistically begin trading with real money once they start learning from you and your course?
Yeah. So as I said, my kind of target ideal client is someone who's quite busy. So even the training is broken down into chunks, which you can do in less than 30 minutes a day as well. So technically it's a 12-week course. By the end of that 12-week course, I mean, you can go through it quicker if you want, you can go through it longer, you can take it at your own pace, and you have lifetime access to the course as well. So it never disappears. So you can always go back to it as a reference library. But by the end of that 12 weeks, you should know exactly what you need to do to be successful, and you should be able to start implementing that strategy. Well, multiple strategies. I teach you multiple strategies across the training, but we tend to pick one, master it, trade it, pick the next one, master it, trade it. And so you'll be trading at least one strategy and starting to trade it at the end of that 3 months. So it's fairly quick turnaround, really. But I always say give yourself about a 6-month buffer just to build your confidence, build your awareness as to what you're doing, knowing you're pressing the right buttons here and there. And again, that's why I say don't start with more than about $1,000 or £1,000 kind of maximum to begin with in your trading account, because you want to, if you're going to make mistakes in the early days, do it on a smaller amount of money rather than a large sum of money, so it's a lot less painful. And we're building up your mental resilience and your emotional resilience to the whole process of trading as well.
Yeah, that's great advice. Like I liken it to people who, I don't do it, but people who gamble. And I have a problem with people who gamble. No judgment. But like if you're going to go to Las Vegas and gamble, one of the greatest rules is don't take any more money than you can afford to lose. Yeah. And so the thing with that is the probability of you losing your money in Vegas, I would estimate, is far greater than if you were to follow what Lewis is telling you to do. In fact, it'll probably be the other way around. I mean, have you seen even people who aren't really that good yet still earn a little bit, or at least break even?
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. And one of the things I primarily focus on in the training, and it will come across in the ebook and it will come across in the foundations course, which I've given you guys as a gift as well, is that it's all about risk management. So one of the primary things within that risk management is we protect ourselves, and on each trade, each investment we make, we're only risking about 1%, maximum 2% of our overall account balance. So you're highly protected. It's low leverage, but you can still make phenomenal returns if you follow the way that I teach you.
I don't talk to people this long normally, Lewis. I'm not kidding. We're going 15 minutes over already. This is great stuff. And so you talk about your course. What is there this is a taster course you've talked about. How do people access the full blown course? Where do they go to get that?
So you'll be shown that through the taster course. Again, if you are on Instagram or you've got my email address, I can send you all the information for that. On my Instagram, there's a link in my bio, which will take you straight through to information about the course as well. Perfect.
Thank you, Lewis. You are an amazing young man. And
thank you very much.
You're like the UK version of Dick Clark. You just don't age.
That's what I'm going for.
It's a good goal, brother. Good goal. All right. Well, man, I've had an absolute blast. I'm not kidding. And if you don't mind, hang on just a few minutes right after this is over. I want to have a chat with you, very short, and let you go to sleep. But thank you, Lewis. I appreciate you for coming on. A lot of people are going to get a lot of wisdom from this. They're going to get value. They found somebody they know will help them. He's got your best interest in mind. He's a heart-centered guy. He loves helping people. Who doesn't love this guy? I mean, look at him. He's such a lovable. Look at that smile. I mean, come on. It's like you just want to reach out and hug him. He's like he reminds me of my son. I just want to give him a big old bear hug. Appreciate you, Lewis, for what you're doing, how you're sharing it, how you're impacting people's lives worldwide. Love what you're doing. Keep doing more of what you're doing. I hope you become infinitely wealthy so you can scale your business even greater, because I know with people like you, when that happens, you'll just help more people. So I want nothing but blessings and showers of wealth coming upon you. And I appreciate you, my brother. Is there any last closing words you have for our fine audience out there?
Why not? So I'm not one to not talk. So I said this in a video I did for the South African students. And I said, if you want to change the world, go for it. Take every opportunity, do what you need to do, live big, dream big. And if you don't want to change the world, that's okay too. But make your life the best it is and the best that it can be.
Love it. Amazing. Great way to close it. Couldn't have done it better. On behalf of the amazing Lewis Crompton, I'm your host, Brian Kelly of the Mind Body Business Show. We'll be back again very, very soon for our next edition. Go to the mindbodybusinessshow.com, the mindbodybusinessshow.com, and scroll to the bottom, register. You'll get an automatic notification of when we go live the next time. It's usually every Thursday, same time, 5:30 Pacific. We hope to see you next time and engage with us, interact, say hi, ask questions. Until then, it's time to sign off. We've gone way too long, and I've kept Lewis up way too long. The poor guy's probably just saying, shut up already. Let's be done. All right, that is it. Thanks again, Lewis. We'll see you all again very, very soon. So long, and be blessed for now. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.